Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Darkskies podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. From the Bay to LA. What's up, San Jose? All the way down to San Diego. All the way up to Sacramento. And in between, San Francisco, Oakland, Vallejo. Can't forget Torrance. And all my friends on the East Coast. My friends in Virginia. How y'all doing today? All my friends up and down the tri-state area. Friends in Philadelphia. My friends up in Boston, Massachusetts. Manhattan, New York. All the way down to Miami, Florida. I can't forget all my family and friends down in Texas. Well, once again, y'all joining us on another episode of Darkskies podcast, coming to you live. Yes, as we always do. Today we're talking, was there a cosmic war in our solar system? Well, we're going to stop, examine, discuss, and you might be surprised at what we come up with. So make yourselves comfortable, and we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Now we back. How y'all doing today? Well, we got the whole crew here today. And hey, it's another episode of Dark Skies. And we're going late into the night. I love the night shift. You know, it just, I don't know, it just brings out the best in me. And I know we all staying up late. And I thank all y'all for staying up with us. So let's get into it. I'm your host, LC Graves. Thank you. We got Mikey and Ike's in the building. Yes, indeed. Jim helping out with the sound levels. You got Jennifer on the ones and twos. So you got the regular crew, and we're all here talking cosmic wars. Hey, you never know. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in. And now, is it a crazy solar system? Yeah, we definitely think that something may have happened in the past. And we look at the evidence and we just see where the evidence point. And a lot of the evidence that we've been going through points towards, well, first of all, it points towards the human race being a lot older than what Darwin theory says, or any other theory, religious theory, doesn't matter. It seems that the human race could be, well, who knows how old? Some say even older than the actual Earth, like humans been around actually before the Earth was formed. Is that possible? Well, we're going to take a look at a lot of the evidence today. We're going to discuss some of the things that may point towards, hey, a massive battle. Not just being fought on Mars, but being fought on Earth. We're looking at the moon, looking at parts of, well, Jupiter's moons. I don't know. It's so much. And then it's so much information, but then the information creates questions, and the questions make you say, I wonder what really happened. Now, we were looking at Mars, and Mars has all the evidence of once having a full atmosphere, quite like Earth. And we were just wondering what could cause an atmosphere to, leave a planet or be stripped from a planet or to, I don't know, leak out? How do you lose your atmosphere? Well, that's not something that humans are very, let's see, experienced with. Now, here on Earth, yeah, our atmosphere has problems, due to greenhouse gases and holes in the ozone layer. So we know what it's like, for, life on the planet to create problems when it comes to the atmosphere. But when you look at Mars looked like a planet that had all the right stuff. Look like, water, probably vegetation, probably had people. That's why they send so many rovers and they're so interested in Mars. Talking about manned missions and Elon Musk talking about, you know, colonizing it. Now, if there was no atmosphere there, then why would they even consider, you know, colonizing Mars? I mean, you wouldn't send people to a place that wasn't hospitable, right? And then some people talk about terraforming and making the planet of Mars hospitable for humans. And I don't know. To me, it seems like if you can terraform Mars into a planet that's hospitable for humans, or it's already hospitable for humans, and maybe just need some slight adjustments to make it comfortable, then something tells me that, these conditions were in place before, and that maybe they're just trying to rekindle an atmosphere that, you know, has faded away. And is that possible? Well, we're talking about a space program, and one that exists today, one that basically says, okay, we're gonna take space, by the horns. Ain't that what President Trump said? That America needs to be dominant in space. Talking about the new Space Force, right? So it just makes you wonder, why do we need a Space Force, right? Other than space exploration team of scientists, why would we need a force? Well, that's where this whole show is about. We believe that you would need a Space Force if, somehow, some way that, there was a intergalactic threat. Now, I remember talking about in one of my videos saying that, oh, is it a such thing as an intergalactic threat? Is it something that they're not telling us? And, when it comes to all the governments of Earth, all the so-called leaders of Earth, that it's always information that's not being told, right? They don't tell you everything. You're a fool if you believe for 1 second that they're telling you everything. Now, we don't believe it. That's why we're a team of researchers and we research our own information. We don't wait for people to tell us nothing. We research. So our research is telling us that there's a lot going on, not just on Earth, but Mars, also Europa, right? Saturn, Hexagon, right? What about Pluto? I'm telling y'all, there's so much stuff going on. And this is just our solar system, right? What about the asteroid belt? What about the moon? I mean, there's so many different aspects and possibilities that you can look at. But then there's different things that you can look at and they create questions, especially when they shouldn't. When you look at the way science, physics, space, Earth, our knowledge of how things work seems to be uniform, right? Seems to be like, okay, if you have a planet and you have a moon going around that planet, in most cases, that moon would make up probably 5% of the mass of the planet, right? So that's what I was taught. I don't know if that's still the case now. And of course, it's not the case with our moon. Our moon is so big. Matter of fact, it looks to be almost a third the size of the Earth almost. It's huge. Now, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying that compared to any other moon, and they're basically satellites for the planets, right? They go around the planets. So our moon go around our planet, but our moon is so big that it affects the waves and, the tides. It's incredible. And then to look at its location and how it can give us a solar eclipse, with the ring of fire. For that to even happen, we're talking intelligent design. I mean, for it to be a moon, and Earth only has one moon for some reason. A lot of the other planets have multiple moons. But it's good that we don't have multiple moons, considering the size of our moon. I mean, can you imagine if we had 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 13 moons the size of our moon floating around? We would never see the sun. Be an eclipse every day, 2 times a day. So, what does this have to do with a cosmic war? Well, I'm just looking at the solar system right now, and I'm looking at how things just don't add up. I look at Mars, and how does Mars have water but no atmosphere? And then you ask, okay, but, natural causes can cause that, right? But we don't have no record of no natural causes that could wipe out an entire atmosphere. Especially if you think that, okay, was it a possibility that there was life on Mars? Well, we definitely know that there's microbial life, right? Microscopic life, like in cells and single cell organisms and stuff like that. So that shows that, the building blocks are there. But Mars don't really have too many secrets. I mean, we have rovers walking around, right? These rovers can dig into the rocks. They can, they can tell the minerals and the different things that are inside the soil, right, of Mars by just digging in and running samples. Well, what if it has different minerals and stuff that you're unfamiliar with? You categorize them as unknown. Well, I'm looking at, from the pictures that you see from Mars look like it's desolate, right? If it was teeming with life, something happened to make it a dead planet, right? What could kill a planet? What could wipe out the atmosphere, destroying all life? Is it natural or is it intentional? Well, we have to understand. Now, we're talking cosmic wars today, right? So we're talking something that's just slightly beyond our comprehension because we can't look up in the heavens and see a cosmic war happening. I mean, even though if it is something happening up there, it might be so far out that it's not like we'll be able to see it. But my whole thing is, you look at the evidence, you can see damage all throughout the solar system, including the moon. If you look at the Earth from space, you see large impact, and we say craters, right? But then we see craters on Mars, we see craters on the moon, but there's nothing in these craters, right? Nothing in the craters. So you can't tell what made the impact. It's not like it's a crater and a big rock there. Craters, and you can see residue of what caused it. Could have been some type of fire or blast from a force that we don't really understand. It's leaving these craters, right? I believe it just looked like a carpet bombing on some type of interstellar bombardment where, you can see from space and the surface is basically damaged with these craters. Now, if you go through the whole solar system, you'll see that, yeah, there's craters all over the place. There's craters in the moon. There's craters on the Earth. There's craters on Mars. There's craters in Jupiter. There's craters in all these moons are receiving craters. All the moons of Jupiter. I mean, you could just go throughout the solar system and you can just see just damage. And okay, we understand that space is a violent place, right? But how long have we lived on Earth, and how long, when was the last time we witnessed something that was strong enough to leave a crater? Something big enough to leave a crater. Yet craters exist, but we don't see what caused them, right? So you wonder, you can look at here on Earth. You can say the Gulf of Mexico could be a gulf, could be a giant crater, right? What is causing the craters if it's not meteors or rocks? And if it was meteors or rocks, wouldn't it be more damage than just a crater? I mean, wouldn't it penetrate the surface? We're looking at like craters, like the craters just don't add up in my mind, because I'm just thinking that if something impact, then you'll get something different than a crater. You get perfectly circular craters. So it just makes you wonder, like, what could cause it. So right now we're finna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back. We're talking cosmic wars, and did we have one here in our solar system? So we're gonna try to make sense of it all as we talk it out. So right now you're listening to Darkskies podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. What's up, San Jose? All the way down to San Diego.
Yeah.
Thank God for listening.
Can I talk to you for a minute? Look. All I did was look. Why you tripping? Look. Check this out. Check it. Baby, look. I'm tired of trying to convince you that I ain't caught up lying. When she walked past me, I looked, so what? Big deal. I don't understand how that can make you feel that my love ain't for real, baby. Thank the Lord above that you're with me. You're with me. Tell me why would I throw that away? Why would I throw that away? This is where I wanna be. Yeah. So I may look occasionally. You're the only one I need. If I wanted, then I would be with you. She's fine as hell, but she'll always be nothing more than that girl. Yeah. What she do, she gon' compare to you. Check what you yelling for. Girl, you act as if you just caught me cheating. When you look at other men and don't act like you don't. I don't trip because I know that I'm the guy you come home to every night, baby. Yeah. That you're with me. Tell me why would I why would I throw that away? This is where I wanna be. Yeah. Though I may look occasionally, you're the only one I need. If I wanted, then I would be with you. She's fine as hell, but she'll always be nothing more than that girl. I know what she do, she yeah. Check. I know I need you right here with me. Oh, I know I need you. No other girl will do, 'cause I need you right here with me. Oh, I need you. But she'll always be and nothing more than that girl. Oh, say if I wanted, then I would be with. Oh, she's fine as hell, but she will always be nothing more than that. Yeah. That girl, I would be with that girl, but that one ain't for me. She's fine as hell, but she'll always be that girl, nothing more than that girl. Matter what she do, she just can't be you, baby.
Yeah, you're listening to Darkskies podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA, all the way down to San Diego, up to Sacramento, Bakersfield. What's that, Victorville? Yes, indeed. Yes, we're talking cosmic worlds. Yes, cosmic wars. Is it possible that one was fought in our solar system? Well, what is the need for a space force? Is there a cosmic threat? I mean, what's happening up there? Do we even know? Well, it's a lot of evidence up there. Now, in human history, all cultures seem to have some type of story, right? You know, the Anunnaki, right? Come from the stars, come from the heavens down to earth. The Hopi, the Indians, they believed in space people. What about the Dungan tribe, Africa? They believed in space people, right? These are like civilizations that are not relied upon technology. So they're not using technology to try to figure out, what happens next, or what happened in the past, or even what's happening now. They pretty much are spiritual type people. But it's funny though, because they're all connected to the stars. The ancient Egyptians, they believe their gods came from the stars, right? There's a lot of coming from the stars around, when you're talking about Earth, the Hindus and the Indians, all up in Asia, all have stories about just flying machines, intergalactic travel. You got stories of stargates, UFOs, but ancient UFOs, not UFOs like you see today, but like they were describing something in the sky back when there was nothing that we had flying, right? So somebody was up there. But who? I mean, it's not like we don't take things seriously, but a lot of times we neglect our history, our past, and what our ancestors saw, kind of writing it off like, fiction. But, it's almost like sightings when you hear stories about how in the old days there were great battles fought over our heads, right? With ships that were unfamiliar, triangular shaped ships, UFO wars right above our cities. And you say, well, these things are recorded in our history, right? Anybody ever heard of the Battle of LA? And I'm not talking about the Rams and the Chargers. No, I'm talking about the UFO war that was fought above our head. When, for some reason, LA thought we was being invaded and just started giving it up. Shooting all up in the air, trying to shoot down an alien craft that appeared above our city. This is a story. This is a story that's being told for so long. Movies made about it. Even though the movie was different than probably the actual event. But still, you get the gist of it though. They talk about alien invasions, right? Independence Day, big alien ship shows up, everybody celebrates, and then it attack. Cosmic war. Is it even possible that one happened? But I'm just pointing out things that happened in our history that our ancestors say they saw. We look at all these structures on the planet, they say, well, humans created it. Yet, it seems to be created with technology that wasn't available at the time. I mean, you can go to any country right now and say, build me an exact replica of King Khufu's pyramid. Is it possible? Probably not. Maybe so. But y'all have to understand, when they made these pyramids to exact specifications. I mean, they knew, they had cosmic awareness. And the reason I say this because you could look at the ground of the ground of Africa, right? Or let's say the Giza Plateau. You know, you can look at it from above and you can see something. You know, you see pyramids, right? You know, you're looking from above down and you see the pyramids on the ground. But that's the untrained eye. The trained eye, the third eye, would look down on the Giza Plateau and we'll see Orion. Right? Orion. So Orion is a constellation, a group of stars up in the heavens. Now, when you building these pyramids and you mapping out the ground that you're going to lay on, and you want to try to, you know, create something special, oh, did they? I mean, you match it to the stars. I mean, it takes cosmic awareness. I mean, you it's more than astronomy to build the pyramids and match them to the stars. You know, it's more than astronomy to place the Sphinx, you know, right where the Leo constellation would be. You know, they built these things. So what did they know about space? Well, obviously a lot. You know, the Mayans understood, you know, our place in the Milky Way. They understood the center of the galaxy. They knew where it was. Understood it. You know, the Hopi tribe, you know, they made predictions, but were they really predictions? Or was it knowledge, cosmic knowledge, people? Cosmic awareness. Where does it come from? You know, how old is humans? If you're looking at structures that's very old and then you're telling us that we're a certain age, but then you see structures that are built that couldn't even really be built today. And I'm just, you know, I don't feel like I'm going out on a limb by saying that we couldn't recreate, you know, these structures today. We couldn't map them to the stars and have them, you know, perfectly matched. Then a lot of people will be confused because they're like, well, it's not a perfect match. But, you know, you're just thinking single, you know, you're thinking just single-minded. You know, I'm a quantum thinker, you know. I'm looking at the world completely different. So I say, when I see this, that this, you know, it's not adding up. And I need it to add up. I need it to make sense. So why are these structures on this planet? Now, when you look at the Nazca lines are only visible from above. Now, if you're on the ground, you wouldn't even notice what you're standing in or what you're walking on, you know, because it's just, you know, not visible to a person that's on the ground. But if you're in the air, then you could easily see, you know, these are images. So who was these images made for? Who made the images? What was up above looking down to see these images? What was the purpose? Now, I'm telling y'all that there's so many theories, you know. We got the hollow earth theory, right? Where they're said that it's supposed to be a group of advanced humans living inside the earth, right? So what's that to stop people, I mean, this theory from being spreaded even further than just a hollow earth theory? Why can't it be a hollow Mars theory? You know, how come it's not an advanced life, you know, inside of Mars, living on the interior? You know, if the surface is unlivable, if the atmosphere is broken, gone, then it would make sense if a species is technologically advanced as we imagine them to be, then they would have moved to the interior of their planet. Now, we look at the moon and we say, okay, we got a moon, right? Full moon. Ooh, werewolves come out. Anyway, let's look, think. Why is the moon so big? Why does the moon have such an effect? It plays a part, right? And then you wonder, what the hell is the moon? Then you talk about the moon mission and why there hasn't been more. How come there's not colonies on the moon? I mean, how come there's not a moon base? All these questions, deserve an answer, right? So our theories would say that, it's a reason. It's a reason for all of that. It's a reason for our moon being so big. It's a reason for our moon it doesn't seem to be a full sphere. It looks like it's broken. That's why, when you look at it, you don't see the dark side. It just never, if it was a sphere, wouldn't it always be full? But they say it's the shadow of the earth, right? But I've seen the sun and the moon up in the sky at the same time, and the moon wasn't full. So it's like asking yourself, what's going on? Now, if you go to, let's say, Jupiter, and you say one of the moons of Jupiter, Europa. Europa is round. I mean, if you look at it, through a telescope, it's round. It's not half, quarter. And it's definitely not real big, 1/3 the size of Jupiter. I mean, a lot of scientists don't believe that satellites could get as big as our moon. As a matter of fact, if our moon didn't exist, then it would be such an abnormality that, scientists would, say, well, no, a moon couldn't be that big. Because there's no evidence when you look out into space and you look at other planets, you say, okay, well, all their moons are very small compared to the size of the actual planet that they orbit. Okay, but our moon is gigantic. So nobody never asks that question, right? And nobody never asks, how come we're not going back? How come we're not there now? They say, I've heard NASA actually even say, I've heard NASA even say, and a lot of people call them never a straight answer, but I've heard them say that we have not returned to the moon because we destroyed the technology, that could get us there. Huh? You what? You destroyed the technology needed to get us to the moon. First of all, my understanding, y'all made it to the moon using technology less advanced than the technology of our cell phones that we have in our pockets today, right? I mean, you always hear people say that, oh, we went to the moon, but the rocket didn't have that much technology. You had more technology in your cell phone than we had in our spaceship. And I'm thinking, but you don't have the technology today yet. My cell phone has more technology than the technology that you had in the past to get you to the moon, yet you don't have the technology necessary to do it today. So, we wonder what's really happening, because what's being told to us is just like when your parent tells you, when you say, what's wrong? And you know it's something wrong because you can see it, and your parents say, oh, nothing, go play. You walk off playing, thinking like, that answer, nothing, didn't really sit. It seems there's something wrong. So that's what we had. The government is just telling us there's nothing wrong. Just go play. And we walking away thinking, But there's a lot going on. I think they're scared of something. It's a reason they didn't return to the moon. It's a reason that, they're so interested in Mars. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to look at some more evidence of a possible cosmic war in the past. And maybe something that's happening right now that we need to be concerned about. And maybe something coming in the future. All of this stuff could be a part of the same subject, if you ask me. Cosmic wars. Did it happen in our solar system? Is it happening right now? Hey, is it about to happen? All I know is that it's a lot they're not telling us, but we need to figure it out because if you look at some of those craters that exist in our solar system and just on our planet too, you have to say that it could be something up there that's a little bit more advanced than we are. So we'll see. But right now, you're listening to the Darkskies podcast coming to you live from Los Angeles. And we're going to take a quick break and come back. Today, we're talking cosmic wars. Hey, I like this. And I can get used to this. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Have a fancy car, diamond ring. But girl, you know all good things come to time. Girl, you know I do just about anything to see you smile on your face. Don't let your friends go messing with your mind. Girl, special kind, man, that is hard to find. Told you 1,000 times, baby, hold on to me. Oh, baby, hold on to me. See, I'm a special kind. Man, that is hard to find. Told you 1,000 times, baby, hold on to me. Baby, hold on, there when he made you cry, and who was there to comfort you when he said bye 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 bye, baby. Girl, I give you my time, here is my money, all of my money. Oh, you'll be so sorry, baby, if we were to ever part. That I would never hurt you. Oh, girl, you know that I won't ever desert you. Oh, baby, I'm a special kind. I'm a special kind. Oh, to mine. Baby, you better.
Yeah, you're listening to Darkskies podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, for the Bay to LA, all the way down to San Jose, San Diego. I see you on the boards, Virginia. Always beautiful to have you along for the ride. And as we go deep into the night, we're talking cosmic wars. And was one fought in our solar system? Is one being fought now? Are we about to have one? All of them are some scary questions. You might be surprised about the answers, to be honest with you. If you just look at the world and just ask yourself, is everything the way I think it is? Or is it something completely different and I'm just completely off? Well, I don't know. We've just been looking at some of the evidence, and the evidence says that, hey, humans are older. You know, you just look at the advancements of humans. Then you look at dinosaurs. And, oh, God, we got a whole different... I'm doing a show coming up too on the dinosaurs and our misunderstanding of them. I mean, because I believe the dinosaurs are much smarter than we gave them credit for. We call them a bunch of dumb lizards, and they may have been a lot smarter than that. So, when we talk cosmic wars, we're talking humans, aliens, right? So, who are the aliens? Well, in this case, well, it could be us. Now, I know you're saying, how could we possibly be the aliens? Well, one of my theories, and I'm going to get into it too when I do the dinosaur show, is that the Earth seems to be made specifically for a group of creatures. Now, perfect for these creatures. Now, the creatures that I'm saying, or what I'm getting at is, I believe that the Earth is a reptilian planet. I believe this planet was made for reptilians. The dinosaurs that you see buried in the earth were the creatures that this planet was actually made for. I don't believe this is a human planet. I don't believe this planet was made for humans. And a lot of people are like, oh, you crazy. Humans are on this planet. We're from this planet. We're born. It just don't seem right. Ask yourself, people, if humans was really naturally from this planet, I mean, if we go with the theory that we've been taught, right? That, hey, you know, God created man and woman and all the animals and stuff on this planet. And they neglected to mention the dinosaurs, right? You can read in all the, you know, the Bible text and all that. So, oops, you know, we'll just leave that out. Anyway, we're going to talk about God creating man, right? Man and woman, animals. But, you know, God created man and we're supposed to be the rulers of this earth, which we are right now. But you must understand, without technology, man is a pretty weak creature, you know. And to be honest with you, I just don't see man being able to survive on the same planet with dinosaurs. I mean, the dinosaurs, the reptilians, had to go, right? Couldn't coexist. So, wipe them out. And, you know, humans move in. So, where do humans come from if they're not from here? I mean, you saying dinosaurs are from here, so where are humans from? That's a good question. Maybe the cosmos. Everything about the human culture, everything about our past, everything that says we are who we are, says that we're from the stars. You know, the people that we look up to, the AKA the gods, right? From the stars, come to the heavens. Even the fallen angels fell. I mean, think about it, people. Every human culture believes that we came from the heavens. I mean, what about Enki? I mean, Osiris. All these stories. Hindu culture. Buddhist. Everybody seems to have some type of cosmic awareness, right? You look at these pyramids. You look at Stonehenge. I mean, that's cosmic. I'm telling y'all. So, humans are from the stars. Now, where from the stars? I mean, I think that, we had a local place, right? Could it have been Mars? Ooh, the place with no atmosphere. Well, we sure in the hell couldn't live there, right? Well, right now we can't. But who says that we wasn't living there a long time ago when it did have an atmosphere? It's messed up there now, just like it's getting messed up here. But it hasn't always been messed up there. Just like it hasn't always been people walking around in buildings and sidewalks and roads, Ask yourself a quick question. If God created animals and humans on this planet, and there were dinosaurs on this planet, tell me how the hell we would have survived. Without technology, no guns, no structures, no buildings. I mean, animals would have been extinct. And I can point out some animals that would be extinct, like a deer. How the hell will a deer survive in the Cretaceous period? What the hell is a deer connected to anyway? Where's his link? Where's the prehistoric deer? There's no prehistoric deer, is it? What about the giraffe? The giraffe would have been eaten so fast. I mean, it would have been eaten by like those little tiny bush eaters, those little small dinosaurs that would run around in bunches. I mean, they would have ganged up on the giraffe, eaten from a tree, and reptilians are in trees. I mean, come on, man. Look at the cow. Yeah, it was some cows in the Cretaceous period. I can see, the raptors eating hamburgers back then. It just don't make sense. None of this, the animals that are around, you just have to ask yourself, how the hell, are they around today? And where the hell was they back in the days if they wasn't somewhere else other than here? You saying the animals are aliens too? Well, all I'm saying is some of these animals that are on this planet shouldn't be on this planet. And if you look at the fossil records, there's no fossil records of no freaking prehistoric chickens. I mean, if you want to find out the animals that, came with us, what the hell are you eating? What are you eating? You're not eating an alligator burger. Alligator is a reptilian. There's nobody eating reptilian sandwiches, right? Because humans don't eat reptilians. But we'll eat the hell out of a cow, right? A hamburger. All I'm telling you is, if you look at the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and you see them with animal heads, decorations on their heads, these are gods that came from the stars, right? Yeah, Horus has a falcon head, right? So where's the ancestor of the falcon on Earth? What about the cow? Don't Isis have a cow head? I can only tell y'all what I know, right? Atum Ra, Ray, right? Is the Taurus, the bull? Where's the ancestor? How come there's so many missing links? You talking about humans we're not linked to nothing here either. You can't find nothing here. They always say, oh, you got the Cro-Magnons and the ancient cavemen and what? But then you can't find no link. Oh, it's a missing link though. We gotta find that link though. They've been looking for that link since they invented the theory of humans being connected to an ancient species of gorilla type ape. Yet we don't have nothing in common with them. They wasn't driving around. Oh, they invented the wheel. What? Who gives a damn about a wheel? When you flying around in a spaceship, or you flying, I'm telling you that if you just ask yourself that, okay, you have to explain this to me. Explain to me where a gorilla came from. If you're telling me that humans came from a gorilla and I'm standing here staring at a gorilla, I'm like, well, how come he didn't evolve? If humans evolved from gorillas, why are they still gorillas? Unless they're a completely different species, right? Just like a giraffe is different from a zebra. You know, they still standing on four legs, look like a horse-like creature, but yet zebra and a giraffe are obviously different. So just like humans and gorillas are different, you know, we have a lot in common, of course, but we are not the same. You know, you're not going to find a gorilla driving a yacht on the ocean, you know, piloting a jet, you know, over Area 51, you know, flying a drone out in Afghanistan. Come on now. You have to make sense of the senseless. And it's senseless to believe that, you know, if you dig through the fossil records and there's no fossil records of none of the stuff that exists today, then it had to come from somewhere else. Because we all, as historians and archaeologists, know that if you want to know the history of a place, that's why y'all digging in the ground in Mars, because you want to know the history of Mars. You dig in the ground. The ground tells you the history of the place. What you find in the ground is what existed in that place. So if you dig in the ground and you dig up dinosaurs, and that's the only thing you digging up, then you digging up dinosaurs. This is a dinosaur planet. You're not digging up dinosaurs and zebras and deer and rabbits. Huh? No, you're not. So where the hell did these creatures come from? That's why I'm telling you. If it don't add up, then you have to try to find out why. You know, if they came from another planet, it seemed like all these creatures came from another planet, dropped here, almost like refugees. And you know what? The biggest part of this cosmic war theory is right before our eyes. The missing planet in our solar system. Why is there an asteroid belt going around in an orbit just like a planet would? Yet it's an asteroid belt. And people are like, oh, it's just an asteroid belt. You know, there's asteroids. They do that all the time. Huh? No, they don't do that all the time. Asteroids fly in and out. They do all kinds of stuff, but they don't orbit. Especially not a whole asteroid belt. It's not a belt. It's an orbit. It's an orbit of a missing planet, a destroyed planet. What you call asteroids, I call the remnants of a planet. Something destroyed that planet. And to be honest with you, I believe the moon is a fragment of that planet. I don't believe that the moon is a satellite of the Earth. I believe that the moon is a fragment of whatever planet there used to be between Mars and Jupiter. Now, am I right? Who knows? Just a theory, right? But it looks like evidence. Evidence that point towards something that used to be there that's not there no more, but yet the remnants of it is there. Why go to the moon? You know, unless the moon is some type of piece of another planet. I mean, if it was just a regular satellite, it'd be a little tiny moon. Well, compared to the Earth, like 5%, instead of the big chunk of planet that we got hurtling around our planet. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say that we have all the answers, but I will say that we have a lot of questions. A whole lot of questions. Like, you know, why do we need a space force if there's not some type of threat, an imminent threat, a threat that could be posing or bearing down or approaching? You know, what do you know that we don't know? I don't understand how everybody can live their day-to-day lives and not ask themselves, where do we come from? Who are we? Instead, you just let somebody else tell you. No, I'm not going to let nobody tell me who I am. I'm going to try to figure it out. Then I'll tell you who I am. But I know one thing, that humans are a lot more special, a lot more older, a lot more advanced than a race of beings that only existed for so long. And then they talk about the Anunnaki created us. You have to understand, in the Anunnaki story, it's not a story of creation. It's a story of manipulation. Now, humans existed before the Anunnaki. Anunnaki just altered humans. They didn't improve humans. It was a lie. They deproved humans. You know, if it's 99% of your DNA locked, then how the hell are you improved? And they wouldn't mix you with their DNA. They locked our DNA. They introduced the death gene. So these are all like things that are done in war. You know? So that's why I believe that humans are pawns in a much bigger game. And that's why maybe President Trump feels that we need some type of protection. We need to protect ourselves because nobody else is protecting us. You know? If we are refugees, then wouldn't we be quite vulnerable? Especially to something that's capable of destroying a planet. And then you got the people at CERN embracing the destroyer of worlds. Yeah, I got another show coming up on the destroyer. I'm telling y'all, there's so much out there. It's so much. But we just have to ask questions. We all have to discuss these things. We have to open up a discussion. Because if we don't, if we just continue to walk around, live our day-to-day lives, then next thing you know, it may be too late. So awareness is the best power. You know, that's why they say knowledge is power. Knowledge promotes awareness. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep following this. We're going to keep digging into it. It's just a little bit of information that we gave you in this show because for some reason there's never enough time to get it all out. So we will be continuing to touch on this subject because there's overwhelming evidence saying that, hey, there was a cosmic war fought and we could be the remnants of it, just like that asteroid belt. So who knows? But for now, we're going to keep studying. We're going to keep trying to figure it out. And like I said, the whole team is involved along with researchers around the world as they send us information and we study it and we send information and we share it. And that's how I believe it's going to be conquered. You know, this beast that says, hey, you know, we're going to tell you exactly how to live, what to believe, and don't worry about the truth. But no, some of us seek the truth. And that's why we're truth seekers. So thank you for joining us. I'm your host, L.C. Graves. Thank you. And Nike Nikes is definitely in the building. And I appreciate you, Jim, staying up with us. And Jennifer and the ones and twos. Hey, this is what we do, y'all. We shine light in dark places. Make sense of the senseless. And for now, we are on a journey. So let's journey together. A journey to find the truth. Who are we? Where are we from? Are we the refugees on an alien planet? Well, I guess we'll find out. So join us again, the Darkskies podcast, live from Los Angeles. And I'm out. Good night, everybody.